Hey guys, welcome back for the fifth, I can't believe I'm already at 5 videos about breast augmentation in bodybuilding. And today's video, I had some disheartening news. I'm going to talk about the likelihood of it happening to you or your loved one and just precautions to have when it comes to your surgeries and recovery. And so if you follow the past 4 videos, I've talked about why breast augmentation happens in bodybuilding, things to consider over versus under, saline versus silicone, as well as nutrition and training. Now, my first surgery was December 27th, 2019. I was going from under the muscle to over the muscle, switching from silicone to saline implants. And I was also getting a capsulectomy where they clean out the old scar tissue pocket and then create a new pocket for the new implants. So the first surgery went great. You know, everything was as the doctor thought it was going to be. Scars were healing good. Everything looked fine until about 10 days after my surgery. And I'm going to show you guys some pictures. About 10 days after, I started to notice some things just weren't right. And my fiance was like, you need to go get this checked out. Go into your doctor and talk to him because this doesn't look as it's supposed to. And I'm like, okay. So I called in and I go in that Monday, which was actually a week earlier than the next follow-up appointment. When I went in, it took him less than a minute and he was like, well, one of them's deflated. You have a rupture. And that was pretty disheartening to hear, especially because I had, number one, just had surgery, so I'm an emotional wreck and like all over the place with my feelings. Number two, getting married in March. Like what? I can't handle another breast augmentation surgery before I'm getting married, but I definitely don't want them imbalanced when I'm getting married because I need to look good in my dress. And number three, I'm going crazy, not just because of the way they're gonna look, but because I can't work out, and that's one of my biggest de-stressors. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about the rupture and what my hypothesis was as to what caused it, what can cause it for a lot of women, and then also like where I'm at in the healing and recovery phase and some things to keep in mind when you are recovering from any type of surgery as a woman. So first and foremost, a rupture can happen in silicone or saline implants. There is a higher likelihood that it will happen in saline than silicone because of the way they're filled. So if you think about the two implants, the silicone is a gel. And so when they fill the implant, the gel coagulates, so it's firm. And that's why when they always talk about like it feeling more natural and soft, it's because when you grab it, it's like gushy, right? A saline implant is liquid. Now it still has a silicone shell, but they're gonna fill it with liquid. I got the Ideal Saline, which has 2 different layers, and so it's structured, and that way, if I do have a rupture, it's still the saline solution would go into my body, but if a silicone implant ruptured, the chemicals can go into your body, but you don't necessarily have a leak, and you can't see that it did rupture unless you go get an MRI every 3 years, which I talk about in some other videos. So nonetheless, I knew there was an issue because I could literally feel the valve from the implant and it would move. It was pretty painful actually because the implant itself would shrink down because the pocket that was created was for the implant that was a larger CC than what it is. And so I had to manage that for another week or 12 days before I got my next surgery it's considered a breast revision. And so I had the breast revision done last Friday, January 17th, and I went for a checkup this past Monday. Everything looks good. Since I was getting the revision done anyways, I elected to go a size up in my implants. So I went from, it was a 535 fill cc up to, these are 625, still over the muscle, still ideal saline, and I'm still healing. So as you can see, I've got this wrap on. It's going to push them together. The one thing that I actually really like about the fact that I went up a size is because I'm actually getting some upper cleavage. Now, it will go down a little bit as I continue to heal and the implants settle into the pockets, but essentially, I look a lot fuller than I did before, and I'm pretty happy about it. And especially because I know right now I'm carrying a little bit extra body fat. Hey, stomach. Yay, healthy girl. I just had my period too, so my hormones are good. Yay, second period in 2 months. But that's a whole nother story. I need to do my series on period health and female menstrual cycles next. But I digress. So I had the rupture, got the new surgery, and tomorrow marks, well, this is going to be released tomorrow, marks 1 week after the implant revision. And so what the doctor said was at least another week before I can take this off, but then it's going to be up to him to tell me if I can work out, do any physical activity, what have you. So, recovery. Like I've talked about in the previous videos, listen to your body and know your body. I don't really know what caused the rupture. It could have been stress related because I am very sensitive to stress. Could also have been overworking because I did do a little cardio and I worked out a couple times just with dumbbells because I was getting really antsy, and that was dumb. Debbie Dum Dum, don't listen to me. So don't do that. The other thing was I was not reliant on David, my fiance, enough because I was starting to like reach for things and picking things up. You're not supposed to pick anything up that's over 5 pounds because literally you can stretch and mess up the pec muscle. Even though I'm over the muscle, those muscles are still healing because I went from under to over. Now it might be different if you're just going over the muscle. Every surgeon's different, every person's different. Know your body, listen to your doctor, eat anti-inflammatory foods, rest, sleep. I'm taking CBD, which I will actually show you guys what CBD that I use to help with my stress mitigation, if I can find it. And drinking a lot of water, staying hydrated. So I use the Hemp Lux CBD, and this brand is the one of the purest that I found. It's organic. This is an Ohio-based company, and this is the peppermint flavor because if you do really good hemp oil, CBD oil, kind of has a taste like marijuana. Not that I would know what marijuana tastes like, but I really recommend this brand. I've used them for, I think, about 5 months now, and I'm going to put the links down below so you can check them out too, but go look into them. It's all organic, and they blend it. This one's with MCT coconut oil, sunflower oil, and then they add the peppermint extract. Peppermint actually has some healing properties on its own, so it's very good for your relaxation and digestive system. Peppermint can really help with. That's something that I'm going to be talking about in the next video, is specifically how to heal your stomach and your gut after antibiotic use. I had to go on antibiotics and a steroid pack again, which sucked. I have like an itty bitty breakout right here that I'm not happy about. But besides that, my skin's pretty clear. I have no makeup on except for my eye makeup. But just take care of your body. So I'm really happy with how they turned out and are continuing to turn out. And just find a good surgeon, somebody who's reliable, and prevent any possible risk of a rupture. So thank you guys for those who followed so far. And, you know, I appreciate all the prayers and the loving thoughts because it does really suck for a little bit. I was depressed for a while, but I'm finally back in the swing of things, knowing that God had me experience this to help you guys so you can avoid it for yourself or your other loved ones. But reach out if you have any questions, and I will be putting a new video up probably next week. So take care. I need to do some CBD, probably right meow. And I will talk to you guys soon.